Have you ever felt like the ground beneath your feet could vanish at any moment, like the world you've built your life around is held together by thin threads you can't see, and one sharp gust of wind could tear it all apart? Most people never stop to ask themselves this. They move through their days believing that tomorrow will look just like today, that their job will still be there, that the grocery store shelves will stay full, that their money will be worth the same in the morning as it was the night before. It's human nature to cling to comfort, to hold onto the illusion of safety, because facing the unknown is terrifying. But history has a way of humbling even the mightiest of nations. Every great empire, every unstoppable power, eventually faces its breaking point. The Romans believed they were invincible, so did the Ottomans, the British, the Soviets. They too thought the sun would never set on their dominion. But time proves again and again no system, no economy, no government is too big to fail, and those who refuse to see the signs are always the ones who suffer the most. Right now, people walk through crowded streets, scrolling through their phones, numbing their minds with endless distractions. They tell themselves everything is fine, that the politicians have it under control, that the rising prices are temporary, that things will go back to normal, but deep down in the quiet moments when no one's around they feel it, that uneasy knot in the stomach, that voice they try to silence, whispering that something isn't right. And it's not. The world is shifting. The foundations people depend on are cracking, and pretending it's not happening won't stop what's coming. Here's the truth most don't want to hear. Comfort is a trap. It blinds you, it dulls your instincts. Your mind is wired to avoid pain, to seek pleasure, and to resist change. It will convince you to stay asleep because sleep feels safer, but history belongs to those who wake up before the alarm. The ones who see the storm on the horizon while others bask in the fading sun. And here's the reward for you if you stay with this message until the end: clarity, the kind of mental clarity most people spend their entire lives avoiding. The kind that makes you dangerous in a world built on lies, because when you truly understand what's happening around you, you gain the ability to move differently, to act when others freeze, to think while others react, to survive when others crumble. Most people underestimate how quickly life can change. A single announcement, a market crash, a sudden shortage, and everything shifts. In moments like those, it doesn't matter what people thought was secure. It only matters who was ready. The problem is, we live in a world designed to keep you unprepared. Society teaches you to chase comfort, to follow routines, to trust systems without question. It rewards obedience and punishes awareness. And that's why most are caught off guard when the collapse begins. It's not your fault for falling into that pattern. The system was built to pull you in. But once you see it, once you realize the illusion, it becomes your responsibility to break free, to question everything you've been told, to pay attention to the small changes, to notice the rising prices, the empty shelves, the restless tension in the air. Your instincts were designed to protect you, but only if you listen to them. And here's a fact about human psychology you need to remember. Your brain filters out anything that threatens your sense of security. It convinces you the danger is far away, even when it's right in front of you. This survival mechanism kept our ancestors sane when they faced threats they couldn't control. But in today's world, it can be your greatest weakness, because by the time most people admit the danger is real, it's already too late. Right now, there's a choice in front of you. Keep moving through life like nothing's wrong, or open your eyes and start paying attention. Both paths are uncomfortable, but one leads to survival and strength, and the other to regret. The ones who rise in moments of collapse aren't the wealthiest, the smartest, or the strongest. They're the most aware. They're the ones who refuse to be lulled to sleep by convenience. So ask yourself, are you watching this because a part of you already knows? Because something inside you senses the ground is starting to shake. If so, good. That means you're not like the rest. That means you've kept a spark of awareness alive, and that spark can become a fire if you let it. Stay with this message, because by the end you'll see the full picture most are too afraid to face, and when you do, you won't be afraid anymore. You'll be ready. The world rarely crumbles overnight. It doesn't announce its collapse with a loud bang. It begins quietly, slowly, almost unnoticed, and that's what makes it so dangerous. Most people expect disaster to come dressed like a thief in the night. They imagine chaos, sirens, and panic in the streets. But in reality, it starts with the small things: a little rise in food prices, a minor increase in rent, a quiet report about job losses somewhere far away. And one by one, these small cracks widen. Right now, those small cracks are everywhere. Groceries that once filled a cart now barely cover the bottom. Rent payments eat up half, sometimes more, of a person's income. Gas prices rise and fall, but they never fall as low as they once were. Health care, education, electricity all climbing like a relentless tide. And most people are so busy keeping up, they don't stop to ask why it keeps getting harder. It's because no one warned them that this is how collapse begins, not with sirens, but with silence. A quiet struggle behind closed doors, people choosing between medicine and meals, parents hiding stress from their children, workers silently watching their paychecks stretch less and less. This is the rising storm no one talks about, and it's here. Psychology tells us something important. Humans adapt to pain when it comes slowly. It's called the boiling frog syndrome. Drop a frog in boiling water and it'll jump out immediately. But put it in cool water and slowly turn up the heat, and it won't realize what's happening until it's too late. That's what's happening now. People are adjusting to higher prices. They're normalizing struggle, accepting stress, laughing off empty wallets like it's just part of life. But what they don't see is that the heat is rising fast. The clever thing about this system is how it keeps people distracted. It floods their lives with noise, news cycles designed to keep you outraged but uninformed, entertainment meant to numb your senses. Debt's so heavy you're too exhausted to question the way things are. The world wants you to be so overwhelmed by your own problems that you forget to notice the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is this: when the cost of living rises faster than people's ability to keep up, a breaking point comes. It's happened before in every powerful nation in history. The people at the top protect themselves, while the majority below fight invisible battles. The middle class, once the backbone of a nation, is quietly being squeezed. And when enough people can no longer afford to live with dignity, something snaps. It doesn't matter how advanced a country is. No amount of technology or influence can stop the consequences of ignoring reality. And this isn't about politics or opinion, it's about survival. It's about recognizing when a system no longer serves you, and having the courage to take responsibility for your future before someone else decides it for you. There's a reason only a few people seem to thrive while most struggle. It's not always about luck or talent, it's about awareness. It's about understanding how the world works when no one's watching. The ones who stay ahead are the ones who see patterns early. They pay attention to small shifts others dismiss. They notice when the mood of a city changes, when stores quietly stop carrying certain essentials, when conversations grow heavier. They trust those subtle signals more than the loud voices trying to convince them everything's fine. And when they see danger, they don't wait for permission to act. They move, they adapt, they plan. Because survival belongs to the proactive, not the passive. Here's something powerful about the human mind. It craves certainty, even in a burning house. People will convince themselves the flames aren't real if it means avoiding discomfort. That's why denial is so common in collapsing societies. It's easier to believe things will get better than to face the possibility they won't. But the truth is, only those who face reality gain the power to change their outcome. There's nothing more dangerous than a person who's fully awake, a person who stops chasing distractions, who stops blaming the world and starts preparing for what's coming. That kind of person doesn't panic when prices rise or when news headlines scream of crisis. They don't complain about the system, they learn how to navigate through it. And when the weight of the world crushes those still asleep, the awake will rise. Because strength isn't built when times are easy, it's built in silence, in struggle, in those moments when no one's watching, when you choose discipline over comfort, when you choose awareness over ignorance. When you decide you're not going to let circumstances decide your future, right now you have that same choice. Stay distracted, numb, and unprepared, or rise above the noise. Learn to see the quiet warnings others ignore. Understand that every difficulty is a message, a lesson, a test, and those who pass it are the ones who lead when others follow. The world isn't falling apart in one night. It's unraveling slowly, piece by piece. And the people who survive it won't be the loudest or the wealthiest or the ones on TV. It'll be those who paid attention, those who took control of their mindset, their habits, and their future, those who stopped waiting for the world to save them and started saving themselves. The greatest danger in any collapsing society isn't just the rising prices, the failing systems, or the growing uncertainty. It's the trap that takes hold of people's minds long before their circumstances fall apart. It's the invisible cage built around their thinking, and once a person's mind is trapped, it doesn't matter how strong their body is or how much money they have left, they've already lost. Look around and you'll see it everywhere. People clinging to illusions, holding on to beliefs that no longer serve them, hoping a broken system will somehow fix itself, waiting for someone else to come and save them. This is the psychological trap designed to keep people passive, to keep them comfortable in their misery, too numb to fight, and too distracted to think. One of the most powerful forces in human nature is the fear of change. Even when a person knows something isn't right, they'll hold on to it because the unknown feels scarier. It's easier to complain than to act, easier to point fingers than to take responsibility. And the longer someone stays in that state, the harder it becomes to break free. The mind grows used to its own chains. It starts to mistake suffering for normalcy. There's a reason ancient philosophers, warriors, and leaders warned about the dangers of comfort, because once a person gets too used to ease, they stop questioning. They stop moving. They lose the hunger that makes them sharp. And when a society is filled with people like this, it becomes easy to control. Keep them entertained, keep them arguing, keep them chasing things that don't matter. And most will never notice the walls closing in around them. The most effective way to trap a person isn't through force, it's through distraction. Feed them constant noise, endless entertainment, shallow pleasures. The world has mastered this. It floods people's lives with meaningless content, petty drama, and artificial urgency. It turns their attention away from what truly matters: their own strength, awareness, and independence. And the more time a person spends chasing distractions, the weaker their will becomes. But here's the truth no one tells you. You were never meant to live like this. You weren't born to be another face in the crowd, numbing yourself with trivial things while your world quietly burns. Deep down, a part of you knows this. It's that restless feeling you get when you look around and realize how empty so many things have become. That silent frustration you feel when you hear the same lies, see the same patterns, and witness the same mistakes being repeated by those around you. Human psychology has a strange tendency. People will endure enormous suffering if it means avoiding uncertainty. They will stay in situations that drain their soul because the idea of stepping into the unknown feels unbearable. But what they don't realize is that staying still is a decision, a dangerous one, because life doesn't pause. The world moves with or without you. And while you hesitate, while you procrastinate, while you distract yourself, the opportunities to protect and rebuild your life quietly slip away. The strongest people aren't the ones born with advantages. They're the ones who learn to break through mental cages, who refuse to let fear dictate their choices, who stop looking to others for permission to change. Every great survivor, every leader, every person who has risen from nothing to something, first had to face this internal battle, the war between the mind that craves safety and the spirit that craves freedom. Right now, you might be fighting that same war. Part of you might still be holding on, hoping things will magically improve. Another part of you knows it won't, and that quiet voice inside you, the one you've ignored, is getting louder. That's not weakness. That's your instinct waking up. That's your spirit reminding you of what you were made for. Not to exist in a passive state, but to move, to fight, to rise. And understand this: the world will not reward your silence. It won't thank you for staying quiet, for playing small, for waiting your turn. It respects action. It honors those who claim their space, who take their destiny into their own hands. The masses will always wait. But history remembers those who refused to. Don't underestimate how powerful a single decision can be. The moment you decide you're done living in fear, done chasing empty things, done believing lies, everything shifts. Not because the world suddenly gets easier, but because you become stronger. You stop hoping for easier days and start becoming a person who can handle the hardest ones. And when you do that, when you step outside the mental trap society set for you, you become something unshakable. People will call you different, they'll say you've changed, and they'll be right, because you won't be moved by their distractions, you won't be broken by their chaos, you'll stand when others fall, because you refuse to let your mind become a prison. You chose clarity over comfort, discipline over distraction, strength over safety, and that more than anything else is what separates the ordinary from the unstoppable, the ones who see, the ones who act, the ones who lead when others follow. The question isn't if you can become that person, it's whether you will, and only you can decide that. When the world begins to fall apart, most people panic because they built their entire sense of security on things they never controlled. Their job, the economy, the opinions of others, the approval of systems designed to benefit someone else, and when those things slip away, so does their sense of identity. They feel powerless, lost, and afraid. But the truth is, none of those things were ever truly yours. The only thing you've ever owned is your mind, your habits, your choices, and your will to keep moving when everything tells you to stop. Throughout history, it's always the ones who take control of what they can that rise from the ashes of crisis. They don't waste time crying over the things they can't change. They don't blame the world for the cards they've been dealt. They sharpen themselves. They build habits that protect their peace, strengthen their bodies, and keep their minds sharp while others are drowning in noise. Right now, more than ever, the greatest advantage a person can have is mental resilience. The ability to stay calm in the storm, to see clearly when others are blinded by fear. The person who controls their mind controls their future, because when everything else is uncertain, your discipline, your focus, and your hunger to improve will carry you through. It's not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming unbreakable, about knowing that no matter how bad things get, you'll find a way, you'll adapt, you'll grow stronger, because resilience isn't something you're born with. It's built in the moments when you choose to push through discomfort, when you choose discipline over distraction, when you refuse to stay down after life knocks you flat. People often believe that success belongs to the lucky or the privileged. But what they fail to see is that most of those people started with nothing but a decision to stop living like everyone else, to stop numbing their problems with excuses and distractions, and to start living with purpose even when no one was watching. Your environment might be chaotic, prices might be rising, stability might be disappearing, but you still have power over your routine. Power over what you consume mentally, physically, and emotionally. Power over the way you respond when life tests you. That's where your freedom lies, not in waiting for the world to get easier, but in becoming so strong that it doesn't matter if it doesn't. The people who thrive in uncertain times are those who stay prepared. Not paranoid, not fearful, but ready. They study, they learn new skills, they take care of their health, they manage their money. They control their emotions. They build relationships with people who add value to their lives, not those who drain them. They aren't seduced by instant gratification because they understand that the temporary high of distraction will cost them the permanent peace of being prepared. And this isn't just about survival, it's about claiming your life back from a system designed to keep you weak, to keep you chasing after meaningless things while your real potential rots in silence. Every time you wake up early when your mind begs for sleep, you're taking control. Every time you choose healthy food over junk, books over gossip, action over excuses, you're breaking the chains that have held you back for years. There's a powerful law of human behavior. Momentum creates confidence. The more you act, the more capable you feel. The more capable you feel, the bolder your actions become. And that's how ordinary people achieve extraordinary things. Not in grand moments, but in small, daily victories that compound over time. Discipline is what will separate you from the masses in the coming storm. The world is filling up with people looking for the easy way out, searching for shortcuts, begging to be saved, but those roads lead nowhere. The only path worth walking is the hard one, the one that tests you, the one that stretches you beyond your comfort zone, because that's where strength is built. That's where leaders are made, and understand this: you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to move, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, because the moment you take responsibility for your life, your mind changes. You stop seeing obstacles as reasons to quit and start seeing them as opportunities to sharpen yourself. It won't be easy, nothing that lasts ever is, but the satisfaction of knowing you didn't fold under pressure, that you didn't let the world break you, is worth every struggle. You'll look back one day and realize that these hard times forged the best version of you. So when the noise gets louder, when the fear spreads faster, when the world demands you give up your control, hold the line. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, stay hungry, because on the other side of this storm is a life meant for those who refuse to surrender, a life reserved for those who kept moving when others froze, and you right now have a choice to claim it.